teachers, we know our profession is filled with fancy terms like pedagogy, constructivism, and non-linguistic representation. There are some terms we've just got to know as teachers, and one of the most important is the term metacognition. Metacognition refers to a person's awareness and understanding of their own thought processes. Another way of phrasing it is thinking about thinking. Have you ever thought about your own thinking before? More importantly, are you teaching your students to think about their thinking? For our students, metacognition refers to how well they understand their own thinking, learning, extent of knowledge, and transfer of strategies to new contexts. Students can often be unaware of their own thinking habits or limits of knowledge. Metacognition is a skill, and as teachers, we can help our students develop this skill to strengthen their thinking habits. Metacognition may sound like a complicated psychological concept, but it can be relatively simple to teach to students. All teachers need to do is engage in practices that encourage students to think about what they know, what they don't know, how they're learning, and so on. Try these practical suggestions given to us by Kimberly Tanner from San Francisco State University. Before learning a new topic, have students ask themselves, what do I already know about this topic? During or after a day's lesson, have students consider what was the most confusing element of today's lesson. After a sequence of learning, ask students to determine how their thinking about a given topic has changed. Also ask students to reflect on their learning practices, thinking about what habits work and which do not. These questions and activities help students not just consider what am I learning, but also how am I learning. That's an important question that helps students build stronger mental processes and awareness. Think of it like a weightlifter. Is it better for the weightlifter to think, what am I going to lift, or how am I going to lift? The how question leads the weightlifter to consider the technique and strategies needed to accomplish the task. Now, if we think about the brain as a mini weightlifter in our heads, we can see how strengthening the brain's ability to consider its strengths, weaknesses, processes, and resources will lead to success. Bringing metacognitive thinking into the classroom empowers students to take greater control of their interior monologue and attune their minds toward more profitable methods of thinking. To effectively teach metacognitive thinking, teachers must explicitly talk about and model metacognitive strategies and do so throughout the school year. This means that teachers should use the word metacognitive in class and define its attributes to students, helping call attention to the process of thinking. The teacher can model their own thinking strategies and also engage students with questions and activities that ask them to consider their own thinking. Ultimately, when we help students focus on taking control of and strengthening their own thought processes, learning becomes a clearer task. Students are no longer at the mercy of their ignorance or unimproved habits, but instead can reflect on their knowledge, their practices, and their strengths and make adjustments to better reach their goals. Now, what do you think about that?